this entire like algorithm where you first find the company and then you go through the steps of like figuring out what kind of companies these actually are, and then you compare them to the criteria that you actually have, exclude the non-fit ones, and then you find the correct people, and then you find their email addresses and then exclude the ones that are actually not clean, right? They are not valid. That's how you get a clean and accurate prospect list that you can now email, right? This is the process. And you can run this algorithm first on a small scale, test it out a little, and then if the response rates are good, which they usually are because it's a super accurate list, you will then go ahead and then run this up to the max and then find every single person possible at all of the companies that you could find with those criteria. So your only bottleneck is really like finding the correct companies. That's basically it, because you will always find someone at that company. Like you can, if the head of sales or CRO, etc., is your ICP at those companies, you can look for all sorts of job titles like head of sales, CRO, etc. That's pretty much what you're going to do, right? Yes. So this is that. Let me actually elaborate that on that a little bit, because I said like you will get proper response rates, right? The reason you will get proper response rate, let me do this. The reason you will get proper response rates if you have a clean list is literally because you can now write an email that is specifically talking to one persona. And that's a very, very underrated thing in general. It is super, super underrated, right? A lot of people, especially if they're running like mass cold email outreach, and I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing. When I started out, I did the exact same thing. So I'm guilty of this 100%. You see the prospect list with like tens of thousands of people, and it feels like you are talking to an audience because there are so many people, right? So you start writing your email in a very weird way where you talk like, when you read it as a single person, it looks like a speech to an audience, because that's what you're in the mode of talking to an audience because there are so many people. But if you manage to ignore however many people are in a prospect list and you just focus on one person and you get as many of these persons, right, in that prospect list, so you have a bunch of people in that prospect list that all have the same persona, you can write to that single person and then reach everyone in the exact same way, which will then increase the response rates because every one of these people are going to really like feel addressed. And if people feel addressed, they will respond, usually. Because if you're in the New York subway, for example, and you wanted to like, let's say you saw your mom, right? And you wanted to call out your mom in the midst of all the chaos. Like you see Spider-Man over there, there's the subway driving in, it's chaotic as fuck, right? The only way you'll reach your mom is literally by calling out her name. And if by happenstance there's another person that has the same name, they will look at you as well because they will feel addressed. All the other ones won't feel addressed. If you start screaming and shouting, but you say everything except your mom's name, no one will care because no one will feel addressed. It will just add to the chaos of the subway, right? And this is a huge problem that a lot of these cold emails have, that I also receive. My past cold emails from years back, they were terrible. They don't work because you're not addressing anyone. It doesn't work, right?